Bum 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 bum. Oh boy. Well, this doesn't look good. There's nothing promising about this. You can see shell damage everywhere. It's not a good thing. It's even worse than I'd feared. They've confirmed casualties, too. Lots of game over screens, I imagine. I didn't think I'd ever have to see anything like this. As students at the military academy, things like this are always within the realm of possibility. Although I hardly expected my first sight of such devastation to be the spark that ignites war with Calvard. Indeed. This may be too much for students like us to handle. No. We've all been in situations that looked impossible before, haven't we? And every time we've come through, we just have to stay calm and think. I'm sure we can do something here, too. You're right. True. We should focus on doing what we can. Whatever we decide to do, we need to get a better grasp of the situation. Yeah, let's find who's in charge and get their permission to start an investigation. Indeed. Bum, 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 bum. You gotta see what's going on around here, man. I see. I don't know. If Lieutenant General Vander has given you his permission, I see no reason to refuse. Better not. Thank you. However, I want to make it clear that armed conflict with Calvard could begin at any moment. We've got our hands full staying on guard for any potential threats from the east. But not from the west. I'll permit you to speak with the soldiers here, but don't get in the way of them doing their duties. Understood. Okay, let's get started. Start by speaking with the soldiers and assessing the damage. The freaking damage. That seems wise. When we've gathered all the information we need, we can start piecing it together. Sounds like a plan. Right, let's go. Let us go. Alright, so we want to kind of go around, take a look at some stuff. See what's going on around here, you know? You know how it is. I need to refresh Twitch because it's being stupid, as always. Not that that's anything new, but yeah. Right. Alright. Okay, so what we want to do... kind of just check things out. That's pretty much what we want to do. Do. Huh, is this? What's up, Elisa? Is there something unusual about that scrap of metal? Probably. I knew it! This is a mortar shell manufactured by the Rhineford Company. Uh-oh. That's no good. Freaking Rhineford? Are you sure? Yeah, I've seen them before on the assembly line. There are only a couple models capable of firing this kind of shell. That would suggest that the mortar used to fire it was also made by the Rhineford Company. But if we assume that's true, it seems it seems much less likely that the Republic was responsible. True. Why would the Republican Army use a weapon made in the Empire? It doesn't make much sense to me. Even if we account for deception, it seems unlikely that Calvert would go this far to conceal their involvement. Yeah. Though, considering the stakes, we can't entirely rule out the possibility. You never know, man. You never freaking know. Still, this might prove to be an important clue to solving this mystery. It's a mystery, you know. Do 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 do. What else we got going on around here? How you doing, sir? Private Zats. Well, at least he's still around. Roan, why'd you go and die on me? Don't you go dying on me! Zats? He seems pretty down. Can't say I don't understand how he feels, though. It was right when the shifts changed. Roan came out to relieve me, and I was chattering away with him like always. He didn't make it, sadly. Oh no. That's when the first shell hit us. Must have been around 3 in the morning. So it started around 3 then. Right, in the middle of the night. I was on lookout. I should have noticed something was off, but that explosion completely took me by surprise. I was so sure nothing would ever happen out here that, when something actually did, I was totally useless. Sucks, man. If I just paid a bit more attention, if I'd been a better soldier, Roan might still be with us now. It's not your fault. None of us would have predicted that something like this would have happened. Indeed. Bum, 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 bum. You can hardly blame yourself for a lack of vigilance after being stationed in a peaceful area like this for so long. Not your fault, dude. It is not your fault. They attacked in the dead of night, knowing your guard would be down. Bunch of bastards. I wonder if it really was the Republican army's doing after all. We need more information before we can say for sure. No, I don't think it was them. There was something else that happened before we came under attack. We heard an explosion coming from the Republican Army's base. When we looked, we saw smoke pouring from it. What? We knew that both bases were attacked. But did both attacks really happen around the same time? If that's so, it's unlikely that either army was responsible. Who is responsible then? I don't know, man. I don't know. We should keep this in mind as we piece things together. Absolutely. Private Manning. I lost some good friends last night. I'm still having trouble getting over it. Rowan might have been the hardest working soldier here. Can't believe he's just gone. Please, do what you can with your investigation. I shall. This is awful. It really is. It looks like they got hit hard. And to think there were casualties. You know the Imperial Army isn't going to sit and twiddle their thumbs after suffering an attack like this. They have their image to uphold, after all. Hey, looks like most of the damage is concentrated on the south side of the building. What could that mean? You think whoever carried out the attack could have done it from the Highlands? It seems very likely. But where on the plains could they launch an attack like that from? Well, the Highlands are incredibly vast. We'd need some kind of clue to even know where to start looking. Yeah, hopefully we'll be able to find something here that'll point us in the right direction. Hopefully. I keep telling Zatz and Manning to get some rest, but they just won't listen. Well, I mean, you don't actually have a name, so they probably don't deem you to be very important. Can't say that I blame them, though. They're the only ones who survived the attack without suffering major injuries, after all. What's going on over here? We need to re-establish our surveillance of the Republican Army as soon as possible. From now on, we of the 3rd Armored Division will be stationed here to take over surveillance duties. First and foremost, though, we need to get a thorough understanding of what's going on here. Warrant Officer Samurai! We need to focus all our vigilance towards the east. You have my permission to conduct your investigation and speak with my men, but stay out of their way as much as you can. No problem, man. How's the situation with the Republican army? Looks like they're really hustling over there. We've confirmed a number of armored vehicles entering and exiting the area. The area. We've heard their base got hit pretty badly, too. And even from over there, it sure looks that way. The Lieutenant General said that the Republican base got hit at least as hard as the Watchtower, if not harder. But we believe they were responsible for that as well. They need an excuse to attack us, and that sure as hell looks like one. Sure does. Do you really think it's true? That much damage seems awfully excessive. They probably just got overzealous with the explosives. Doesn't make much difference either way. If they're brazen enough to attack us, we'll blow them back across the border. Soldiers here all seem to have their doubts, but without any hard evidence, we're not going to be able to convince them of anything. We should reconsider the possibility that this was a deliberate act of sabotage by Calvert's forces. I think that's all the info we can gather here. I think so too. Now we need to analyze what we've learned. First we should establish a good picture of what happened when the attack occurred. That seems like the best place to start. So first of all, what time did the actual attack on the Watchtower happen? It was 3 a.m., of course. 3 a.m. It was 3 a.m. Yes, that's what the guard told us. But that wasn't all that was going on then. That's right, the Republican Army's base also came under attack. And according to the Lieutenant General, they suffered even greater damage than what happened here. I think we can safely discount the possibility that the Republican Army bombed their own forces then. But there's no evidence that the Imperial Army launched an attack either. There certainly is not. All we know is that both attacks happened and both sides took heavy damage. However, as Elisa said, we have no evidence to suggest that either side was responsible. If we accept that as fact, the most likely scenario is that the responsibility lies with another party entirely. Probably. So you think a third party is working behind the scenes to provoke both countries into starting a war? That sounds familiar. Tensions between the Empire and the Republic are always high. Compared to other areas of similar political value, the Nord Highlands have always been peaceful. I can conceive of no reason either country would have decided to break that peace last night. I agree. If anything, it seems that the negatives would outweigh the positives for both parties. If this were Crossbell, it might be a different story, but here... Now that you mention it, we found something else odd about the attack on the Watchtower, didn't we? Something that seemed to point to a third party's involvement. Something else odd about the attack on the Watchtower. I'll bet she's referring to this. The time it happened, the area that was damaged, the weapon that was used, of course. You're talking about the mortars used for the attack, right? That would be so. Exactly. It looks like the orbital mortars they used in the attack were an old Reinford model. And I, for one, find it pretty unlikely that the Republican army is packing Erebonian-made weapons. Indeed, they have little reason to be considering the Republic has its own major orbital technology manufacturer. The Verne Company, as I recall. Yep. Yeah, the Verne Company is responsible for manufacturing most of the arms used by the Republican Army. Then there's the fact that the mortar used here is old. The Imperial Army hasn't used this model for years. I've heard that military surplus sometimes makes its way onto the black market and ends up in the hands of mercenaries. Jaeger Corps and the like. Knowing that, it seems unlikely that either army chose to use it to cover their tracks. Quite. However, there's a far more pressing question we need to answer. What do you mean? Ah, I know where you're going. We need to know where the attack was launched from in the first place. That's going to be difficult to work out. But without that vital detail, all our speculation thus far is for naught. If we intend to avert a war, we need more than speculation. We need conclusive evidence. That we do. Agreed. But the Highlands are far too vast to just strike out searching blindly. Especially with the Lieutenant General's deadline and rapidly approaching. Actually, we may not have to start our search blind. If Elisa and Gaius will lend me a hand, I may be able to help. I mean, maybe. Hasty Steven style, as a matter of fact. Huh? What do you have in mind? If I can factor the location of the damage together with the speed and trajectory of the mortar shells, and then take into account the Highlands winds, I may be able to estimate the area from which the mortar was fired. Potentially, anyway. I'm doing pretty good. Are you serious? Are you serious, bro? It sounds easier said than done. I'll do what I can. Are you familiar with the specifics of the shell that was used? I think so. It's an old model, but I should be able to give you some rough data. Lieutenant Commander data, even. That should be plenty. Anyway, let's have another look at those damaged areas and start our calculations. Let us indeed. Please come with me, everyone. Right. AP increased by 1 because we answered all the questions properly. Do. Alright, I think I've calculated a rough location. Location. You know what I'm talking about? I believe the mortar was fired from a location to the south of here. Using the map as a reference point, that means it was likely launched from somewhere in this area. And according to my calculations, the launch site shouldn't be too far from here. Wow, I can't believe you managed to work that out. That's well beyond the level of mathematics we cover in class. I'll enjoy watching Regnance really sweat it out trying to best you on our next midterm. Just a little applied physics. I couldn't have done it without Elisa and Gaius' help. It looks like we've got a nice big piece of the puzzle right in our hands. Sure seems like it. Let's take off and start looking. Right. Indeed. Reen and the others reported their findings to the soldier in charge and asked him to relay the intel to Zender Gate. Afterward, they set out on horseback to begin their search. Let the search commence. You know what I'm talking about? Alright, let's start looking for where the mortar was actually fired from. If what Emma calculated is correct, it should have been fired from a point south of the Watchtower. And most likely from a point that's easy to overlook, so that it's not found out. Let's see if we can find anywhere that fits that description. We'll likely need to rely on the map to help us. Wonder if the culprit could still be there. Regardless, we should see what we can find. Search for where the mortar was fired. Oh, yeah. So I think there's going to be a boss battle coming up. But we should be good to go. Yeah, we want to go down there.
Yeah!
Yeah! Whee! Ba-ba-ba-bum. Hasty Steven style, even. Excuse me, sir. Hey, over there. You found something? What's a rope ladder doing all the way up there? I can hardly believe its presence here to be mere chance. Do the people of Nord use this area for anything? Probably not. Not that I've ever known of. This just got much more suspicious then. Perhaps the mortar was fired from somewhere up here. Perhaps. It definitely seems worth a look. I'm just not sure how we're going to get up there. We can't reach that rope ladder from down here. I see no way to climb up the cliff face itself either. If you have any suggestions, now would be a fine time. I believe I have an idea. What if we were to make use of Elisa's orbital bow? My bow? How? Well, if you were able to hit the cord that's tying the rope ladder, perhaps it would unroll itself, allowing us to climb up. There you go. Archer style. I'm glad you think I'm that good of a shot, but I really don't see it working. It was just a thought. Well, it's not like we have any better ideas. Why not give it a try? True enough, and time is one resource we don't have much of right now. Searching for some manner of tool to pull it down would cost us precious time as well. I can't really argue with that. Alright, here goes nothing. You mean here goes something? It's Archer time! There! It worked! Looks like Emma did something, though. Wait, what? It actually worked? Huh, you seem to have the makings of a great hunter. Heh, it seems This is a day for lucky shots. Heh, we'll have to start calling our quick draw Alisa. Was I just imagining things, or did that arrow glow for a second? It sure did. Well, now that we can reach the ladder, why don't we go have a look at the top of the cliff? Yeah, let's see what's up there. Let us indeed do 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 do. Bum ba bum ba bum. Alright. Let's climb up the ladder, and like I said, I believe there's going to be a boss fight, so make sure you're ready to rock and roll. Which we pretty much are, so, you know. We're running! I can't believe it took me that long to figure out you could run on foot. For some reason I didn't realize that. I would just use turbo mode. There. Exactly the smoking gun we were looking for, too. There's the mortars. We found them! Well, well. Old Orbital mortars. All Rhineford models, too. And it looks like they've been used recently. So this is where they were hiding them. I can see why they chose this place. Who would think to look here? They must have fled the area after firing them last night, leaving the launchers where they were. But unfortunately, that alone does not furnish enough evidence to avert the war. You're right, unfortunately. If we just had a bit more evidence... Still, this is a solid step forward for our investigation. Perhaps we should return to Zender Gate and let the Lieutenant General know. Perhaps. That sounds like a good idea. Alright. Let's go report. Let us indeed. Let's do it with pride and determination. Several orbital mortars manufactured by the Rhineford Company have been set up. I've made sure they can't be fired again, so don't worry about that. Right. Let's go then. How did you manage to do that? Do 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 do. Da, 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 da. It's ladder time. Bub up, bub up, bub up, bub. Ruh-roh. There. Isn't what? What? Just my imagination. It's that kid. It's that flying object we saw fleeing from Auroch's fort near Bereahard. Indeed. There's no mistaking something that strange, and it looks like it's carrying something. Or, you know, someone. Someone. Du -du 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 -du. It can't be a coinkydink that they'd show up now of all times. Yeah, it can't be. Or can it? You never know. They're heading northwest, and we're going after them. Right. Saddle up. Saddle up, partner. Chase and find the floating silver object before time runs out. Okay. We got a time limit! 2 minutes.
We can't let them get away!
Right. We need to overtake them.
Chasing them on horse. Do 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 do.
Crap, they're fast.
Where'd they go?
Just don't lose sight of them.
I don't know where they went. there a certain place we're supposed to be going, or you just go around until forever?
Yeah!
Ah, now I see him. Come back here. I'm not as fast as you, you son of a beep. Guess we gotta go up there.
Did they touch down near the stone circle? There's no escape for them now.
I like how all the monsters are gone. Because that's fun. Do 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 do. Almost out of time. I say you're underlined. Do 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 do. I definitely saw them land around here. I can sense someone up ahead. Really? Yeah, I'm betting it's that thing we're chasing. Ah, so our quarry is finally within reach. I think he was carrying a young girl. Well, we'll find out what we're dealing with soon enough. AP increased by 1. Okay. I guess. Well, you knew something had to happen up here. There they are. He really does look like a child. But what is that silver construct with her? Save the speculation for later. We need to capture them before they escape.
I think that about covers everything.
Hold on.
Now, what to do? It'd be easy enough to overpower them, but there's a good chance some of them would get away. But just killing them all seems really cruel, too.
Halt! Stay where you are!
Ooh, it's the military academy students!
She knows about us?
How?
Just who are you?
And what's that thing beside you?
Silver object. I think it just cursed at me. I think it called me a narc.
So, who are you? Were you involved with the attacks on the Watchtower and the Republican Army's base?
We'd rather not accuse you of a crime you didn't commit. But can you at least tell us who you are and what you're doing here?
Aw, how did I end up being the bad guy? This is gonna make things a bit sticky. Oh, I know what I can do! Everything will go hunky-dory if you guys help me out.
What?
What are you talking about? But first, I hope you won't mind if I give you a little test, just to be sure you're up to the challenge.
Is that a challenge?
William Orion.
I'm Milliam Orion. And this is Aragetlum, but you can just call him Lammy for short.
Lammy.
Okay, let's get started!
We got a boss fight. Here we go. Millium. I guess we can't target the silver thing. It's fine with me.
Oh, delicious.
Defense and speed up.
It's my turn.
Detector.
Analyzing the enemy's vitals. I've got it.
Level 30, 24,235 HP. A mysterious girl gives orders to the silver combat puppet with her, overpowering foes with powerful strikes. You don't say. No elemental
I'll handle this.
affinities.
Great.
Delicious.
Drink the Crystal Saber.
You're in the shore! Crystal Saber!
Oh yeah. Damn that. Took almost half her
Leave it to me.
HP. Almost, not quite, but almost.
We're open!
Rush.
Leave it to me!
Calamity Hawk.
Grant me your strength!
If you've got a bunch of S-Craft ready to go like I do, you can pretty much tear her apart pretty quickly. Boom.
Guess I let my guard down.
Together, we're unbeatable.
Dun 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 dun. Pure unadulterated massacre. Angel reach level 4. Good times. Learn Cross Crusade with whatever the beep that is. 100% HP and CP up by 100. Once per battle. Nice. Gradual HP regen when HP lows now for 4 turns. Cool. No sap it. That's a rip-off and a half.
Wow, you guys are pretty tough.
Bum, 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 bum.
Yep, looks like you'll be great for the job, all right.
We've had quite enough of your wild chases and your games.
You were the one who attacked both of those military facilities, weren't you? Oh, no, that wasn't me! Ugh, what can I say to make you believe me?
No.
Just tell us what you can.
Do 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 do. Oh yeah.
Anything you know that might help us find out who was actually responsible.
You said you wanted our help? If helping you would restore peace to the Highlands, we're ready to help out however we can. But you have to talk to us. Help us understand what's happening.
Bum, 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 bum.
you two?
I hope you don't come to regret your naivete.
You said your name was Milliam, right? We really don't have much time. So could you tell us what it is you want our help with?
Well, what I want you to help me with is capturing the small armed group responsible for attacking the Watchtower and the Republican Army's base.
Huh?
What did you just say? You saw those mortars earlier, right? There's a bunch more hidden near the Republican Army's base. I'm guessing it was the same group that set them up at both locations.
Wait.
Do you have any idea who this armed group might be?
Well, I'm not 100% sure or anything. But they look like a bunch of Jaeger dropouts, so I'm guessing they're working for a pretty meaty chunk of Mira. I was on my way to go find out for sure.
Wait, then...
You know where they are?
Sure do. They're up in the north of the Highlands.
Oh, yeah?
If you promise to help me out, I'd be happy to show you the way. So, how about it?
Alright, you have our aid. I'm Reen Schwarzer, Thor's Military Academy, Class 7.
Gaius Wurzel.
I'm Elisa Reinford. It's, nice to meet you.
My name is Emma Milstein. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Eustace Alberea. And just so you know, you still have much to answer for regarding your intrusion into Auroch's fort.
You knew that was us, huh? It'd be super cool if we could just, put that whole thing behind us for the time being.
If we must.
Now.
Nice to meet you all, too. Anyway, what are we just hanging around here for? Let's make for the north of the Highlands.
Alright, but I'd like to swing by the settlement first.
Yeah, we should use their telephone to report back to Zendergate about everything we found out so far.
Let's just hope we don't get called by John.
Okay, let's get going then.
That'd be awful.
Oh, yeah. Are you going to be riding on the back of your... thing?
Well, I could, but I think I'm gonna ride on the back of your horse instead.
Wait, what?
Lammy!
Ergitlum.
Whoa!
It's gone.
It vanished.
It's a poltergeist.
And the way it did so seems familiar somehow.
Come on, are we going or not? Let's go catch us some big bad wannabe Jaegers!
Okay. Milliam joined the party. For reasons unknown, she's carrying an Arcus unit and is capable of forming combat links with the other party members. What? Is she actually a party member? My god, she is. That's just weird. She's in level 33. She's higher level than us. That's not fair. That's not fair. Milliam Orion. Buster Arm. Ergitlum attacks with great force. Unbalanced 20%. Impede. Faint 50%. Area medium. Ultimate barrier. Creates a silver barrier granting immunity to one attack. Ooh. Kevin style. Self. Physical immunity. And she has an S-break. Or an S-craft. Gigant breaker. Turns Ergitlum into a hammer and strikes foes. Attacks all. Coolio. Noise. Her weapon. Breaker arm. Ergitlum's arm. Sturdy and incredibly powerful. You can't change her equipment, apparently. And you can't give her accessories. Or costumes. That's sad. She seems to have pretty good stats, though. I guess. Earth Elemental Master Quartz. Reflect magic damage and gain immunity against physical damage. Cool. Defense 2, Tira, Grand Press. You can't change any of her stuff. So she's probably just a temporary character. Hydro Cannon. Strike with a high pressure water current. Line medium. Silver Thorn, attack 2. Just a Needle Shoot. Lacrest. Curio. Bum, 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 bum. So we're gonna go ahead and put her in our party. Because reasons, Chocolate Chew. Do 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 do.